Well, it's been like what, 2 months since we actually scaped this thing. Well, rescaped it, and I'm finally here giving you guys an update on the swordtail shrimp snail swamp sort of tank we got going on here. Now, you guys, those of you who watch my videos regularly, all like two of you, you would have seen a few updates on this tank kind of as we've gone along throughout other videos, but I thought it'd be a good idea to give a proper update video. I just did one on the Gerarium, and I thought it'd be a good idea to do one on the 10-gallon tank. So you can see the tank is grown in quite a bit. All of our mystery snails and our shrimp and our fish are all doing quite fine. As far as I'm aware, no one's really died. There you can see one of our orange shrimp. He's very beautiful. And yeah, everything's just been doing really healthy, and it's just been going really well. And well, at least that's how it was for about, I want to say, this is about 2 weeks ago, into like the evolution. So, you know, we rescaped it. I waited for a while. This footage is about from 2 weeks ago, and we're about to jump cut to about 2 weeks later, which is the footage that was just recorded. And I'll give you guys a taste of what it looks like now. So the first thing you guys might be able to see here is a new fry. These swordtails recently had another child, our big, black spotted one. And that's been great. There's been some new fry in the tank. There's another one hanging out by an upside down water bottle. And if you don't know what that is, that's for a very cheap CO2 trick where you basically just blow CO2 into the bottle to distribute CO2 in your aquarium. Now, you know, I got the macro lens recently, so I thought it'd be a cool idea to use in this video. And it turned out quite nicely for this fry who decided to come up to close to the glass without being scared away. And I was able to get this pretty cool shot. Now, it's a little blurry, unfortunately, but I thought I'd leave it in because it does look pretty cool. There you can see it gets clear there. And here's a full shot of the tank. Now, it's hard to tell in this video, but the water had gotten incredibly cloudy. I assume it was a bacterial bloom or something. I'm not really sure, but you can see I've stuck the siphon in there. And I'm just doing a quick water change. And, you know, I also thought it'd be cool just to show a quick little maintenance tutorial on here. And, I found this quite entertaining when I'm doing it because the way the fish all swim around, like, oh, what's happening? I don't know, it just makes me laugh, I guess. Now, I'm not really sure why this bacterial bloom or whatever it was happened. I just know the tank wasn't cloudy and then it was cloudy. Now, this has kind of been a reoccurring issue ever since we took the filter off the tank. For those of you that don't know, I took the filter off the tank when we set up the 20-gallon. However, I am keeping this tank filterless. I've explicitly stated that, and I've explicitly made it clear to myself that I want to keep this tank filterless. We're gonna keep trying. Plants are gonna grow in more. I don't think this is gonna be a continuous problem. I think it's just one that's occurring right now as this tank sort of reestablishes itself. So I'm not too worried about that at the current state. I just thought I'd, make note of that. Here's that bucket of disgusting methane-smelling water from the tank, with some various plant bits floating around in it and a tissue I dropped in there like an idiot. And here you can see the tank, like how it looks with the low water line, and you can actually see the hygrophilia growing out of the water, which is pretty cool. It just looks like a ghetto paludarium when it's empty. You can see here the water lettuce growing in, as well as two little fry there, which is pretty cool. And we can just really quickly take a look at how the water lettuce looked 2 weeks ago. You can see it was starting to grow in, but definitely not as significant as it is in its current state, which is how it looks today, the 15th of September. We can just cut back to what it looked like so you guys can compare it again. Now here what I'm doing is just showing you guys me pouring it out. It's not a very complicated process. You just pour it out and hope not to spill stuff everywhere. And you can see me pulling some gunk out of there because you really don't want to dump that stuff down your drain because that just clogs it and makes stuff a big mess. And you can see me wiping up the sink a little bit there because you got to stay clean. Just in general, that's just a life hack. Not really a life hack, just a statement. This is the bucket I use for water changes. I think I mentioned that in the water change video, but I thought I'd just show me filling it up and adding my terrible dechlorinator. My water's actually dechlorinated, but I still add this because, I don't know, I think it's just a bit of habit. And this is the fun part where we try not to spill the water all over the sink. I actually did pretty well that time. I always tend to fill it up a bit too high, but that time it didn't turn out too poorly. So now back at the tank here, you can see the water being poured in and various bits of detritus being kicked up. That's one thing I always find kind of frustrating, is I find I'll do maintenance on a tank, but the act of me pouring in water kicks up some debris in the gravel I didn't get while I was vacuuming, and the tank ends up looking dirtier than when I started. Of course, it all settles down within a day and it looks cleaner, but just in that moment it kind of feels unsatisfying, because when you do something, you expect sort of immediate results, and you don't always get that in situations like this. But yeah, there's the tank mostly filled back up. You can just get a quick little look at it. Oh yeah, there's the one of the fry swam into the CO2 bottle, and there he just swam back out. I've never seen that happen before, so I'm kind of glad I got that in footage. I've seen snails crawl up in there, but I've never actually had a fish go in there, so I thought it was kind of funny. Thought you guys would appreciate it. Here we're adding the little blast bit. These guys probably get a little weirded out when this happens, because they're not used to flow anymore because the tank's filterless. You can just kind of get a general look at the scape here as I shake the camera around and add some more water. And yeah, it's looking pretty good. Everything's growing in pretty nicely. But as you'll see towards the end of this video, I do end up adding a few more things because I'm not completely satisfied with the scape. I know the dwarf hairgrass still has to grow in, but you'll see what I end up doing. Now here I'm just adding the CO2 to the bottle. It's just a really simple process. Literally just blow in there with some acrylic tubing and you're good to go. And yeah, I kind of do that like once a week to redistribute the CO2 into the little system. There's just, a shot of the tank. Here's a macro shot of my cherry shrimp. Thought you guys would appreciate this. I've been wanting to get one of these for a while. It's really hard to do with the bowl, so I was able to do it with the 10 gallon here. And I'll probably do this a few times and sneak it into a bowl update just to make my life easier. It is a pretty cool shot. I wish it had been one of my more bright red ones, but they're all hiding at the time, and hopefully they're all still alive. Again, I don't know if that was a bacterial bloom or like an ammonia spike, but it did smell a little bit, so I'm a little worried because cherries are pretty ammonia sensitive, but these guys seem to be doing okay, so we're hoping for the best. Okay, that's a limpet snail, and there's a ton of these. You can see me. I'm just going to like pan around to... Well, I don't really know what that thing is, but there's a ton of these little limpet snails, and they're not just in this tank either. They're also in my 20 gallon, and they're really strange. They have the same sort of like face or mouth as a pond snail, but they're not pond snails, and they're just kind of little things that stick on the glass. They barely move. And I was trying to spot them without the macro lens, but that wasn't really an easy feat. You can kind of see one in the corner there. Now this swordtail is actually a male. If you look at his anal fin and his like tail fin, you can see the sword starting to appear, and that's kind of cool because I assumed they were all females until just around this point. Now here is where the crypt was, if you remember that. It's dead. Not much more to say other than that. Now here we have some pothos growing at the top. Now there's actually no root structures growing yet, which is strange because from past experiences and from what people have told me, you literally just chuck pothos leaves in the aquarium and they should start rooting, but these ones haven't yet. I'm still holding out. I mean, look how well this one's doing, but I'm still holding out on that. I might add a few trimmings later at some point, and we're hoping it'll start growing. Now there's the dwarf hairgrass. Now that's what it looked like 2 weeks ago, and here's what it looks like now. Now, it's not significant, but I do believe it has grown a tiny amount, and I'm hoping it has, but again, I'm not completely sure. Now, why are we looking at the 9 gallon, you ask? Well, the answer is, I just mentioned, well, I don't remember how long ago it was, but I wanted to add a few more plants to the tank. You can see there is a little sword fern there. It was growing on the bottom of my sword, which is funny because I was looking for, a plant to add, and then I was just like, oh, hey, there's actually a baby sword, so why don't we just stick that in there? He's barely got a root structure. I like how I refer to it as a he. It's barely got a root structure at this point, but I'm hoping, due to the fact that it's not really acclimated to a non-dirted setting, it'll figure itself out. You see me kicking the snail to the side there. Hopefully it'll like figure itself out and will adapt to the situation, because swords and crypts tend to do really well in dirted setups. But my crypt didn't take, so I'm hoping this sword does, because that would be pretty cool. And I had swords in here way back when we first set up the tank. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but they ended up just dying slowly over time. So we're hoping this one does a little bit better than that. And I also got a little bit of corkscrew val from the front of the tank. And I'm going to add that here in a sec. Now, I think I'm going to turn off the light on the ISO project in the background. I was about to say there I am, but no, that's the sword. Yeah, here we go. Just getting rid of that glare. I hope you guys like the use of the tripod in this video. One of my friends recommended that I use the tripod so my videos are less like a man trying to film an earthquake, like a found footage film, but hopefully this is a bit better. This is kind of the style I'm going to try to adapt to. Of course, we're still going to have some more vlogish videos, but I thought I'd just throw that in there. Now I'm going to add the valve. It's corkscrew valve. Oh yeah, and my mosquito fish found her way into the bottle there, so we're just going to let her kind of fall out there. And also let the water out there, and I'm going to re-add CO2, but you don't need to see that. Yeah, here we go. Here's me planting the Val, and I'm hoping this kind of grows out here. And because Val has a very small root structure, I should hopefully be able to rip this out at certain points to move it kind of towards the middle of the tank. Now, I still felt like this was missing something, and I had this Coke bottle that I wanted to use in a saltwater tank at some point, but I thought, nah, what the hell, let's just put it in here. It creates a cool like sort of trash scape, if you will. I'd like to add some other bits of like smooth glass, but we'll see if that ends up happening. But I don't know, I thought it was just a cool little aspect to add something in the middle of the tank, at least until stuff grows in. You know, here's just a general shot of the tank. I think it looks pretty cool now. Might prop it up a bit more at some point, but for now it looks pretty cool. And I'm hoping no fish swims in there and gets stuck, because you know sometimes like you can fit through something but then you can't get back out. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. Anyways, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little update video on the 10-gallon aquarium. And yeah, just thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next update, which should be the Blackwater tank or the bowl, or just something completely different, not really sure yet. So just enjoy this footage of my fish eating, and I'll see you guys in the next one, whatever that may be.